Hello, my beauties. Hello, 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 hello. I clicked the live button before I'm really sure I'm ready to go live. Okay, like the earring is turned backwards. There we go. We're just going to breathe. The Percival is right here. Percival. He's like, okay, why are you doing this to me? I'm sorry. You're a large cat. How are you all doing? Say hi in the chat so I can say hi back. Rolandez? How do you, Rolandez perspective. Hello, I can put you up. Here we go. Oh, thank you. You are so sweet. I have some, most of my viewers are super, super positive. So yes, I'm rushing. I was wearing something blue. And I was like, I don't like, it's cute. It's just a little summer dress, but it didn't look as well on camera. I'm like, go find something white. Then I find something white and I found that my little button is broken. I'm like, okay, they won't notice that. Of course, if I tell you, you will. Oh my goodness. So yes, greetings. I had a friend in undergrad school who would always just say greetings. I've had some strange friends. So I'm just waiting for folks to get their announcement from YouTube, honestly, as well, that we are live. So if you're here early, say how you're doing, share what your thoughts are. Why are you excited to tune in? Tell me more. All right. And I also want to lift this up a little bit higher. So it has been a little while, I think, since Alive. I don't think I was live this past Sunday. Okay. But I am glad to be here. And I've just been going through a lot, going through my feelings, going through my feels. Okay. We're going to talk about that. I did not even make any notes. Okay. But this is not going to be a long video. So I'm really glad you're here. I'm looking to see if I can, I don't have any note paper handy. Hold on, guys. Let me get my little notebook. So yes, the topic, healing experience. I'll put you up. This can get a little shout out for your channel as well, right? Now you see I'm looking at my thumbnail, goddesses. I really quickly made this using AI. I don't think that's a topic for my channel, but you guys know I'm very interested in, hopefully you're multi-passionate as well. I'm interested in a lot of different things. So I just quickly made that thumbnail. It doesn't have any text, but it shows a little girl and she looks really worried and troubled. So yes, hang on, let me close a window. Okay, and I put, why does this keep happening to me? I think that's the title I had settled on. My original title, goddesses, was The Unseen Connection, Childhood and Now. Okay, that was the other title, The Unseen Connection, Childhood and Now, and I'm going to talk about that in a moment. I'm going to go through a couple of points. You might want to get a journal. Okay. But I think I left it with, why does this keep happening to me? I'm not even sure at this point because I can't see it up. Okay. Ooh, chakras. Yeah, trauma healing. Hey. Hi, Etienne. Yes. So why does this keep happening to me? So I'm just going to go through. If you're just joining, do leave a comment. Get your channel. If you have a YouTube channel, get your name shouted out here. So say something in the chat. If you can find it on the phone, it can be hard to find. I understand that. So I'm sitting by a window. My light could be even brighter. It's just about, the sun. It's not sunset, but the sun's going down. So I apologize if it's a little bit dark. I have a window, but in general, I really like subtle lighting. Not, of course, good for filming YouTube videos. So I'm just going to go through your comments. Yes, like Roland and Kelly Rowland. Okay. You're assuming I know how to pronounce her last name. I know who she is, but I'm Roland. Oh, okay. But the spelling, the spelling would lead you to not pronounce it correctly then. Let's see. And here's another comment. Let's read this together. I've noticed a pattern in my relationships, and I've realized I really wish my dad took care of me and treated me. This is so amazing because I didn't even really say what this is about. Yes. Let's just read this comment together. Wow. You are totally reading my mind. You are. I think it's Roland. Yeah, Roland perspective. You're totally reading my mind. That's what this is about. So I'm going to leave her comment up here. So yes, I said I'm all in my feels because I had some breakthroughs and I wanted to share with you guys. I'm very much a teacher, so if something happens, I like to right away share what I can. So I'm not a therapist. See your therapist, see your doctor. Okay, there are side effects that I let's see, let's take her down. All right. So, and here the healing experience. Here's another comment. Peace with their inner child. Wow, you guys are so like I mean, is it just my title that totally gives it away, or what? The little girl. So yeah, I'm gonna jump in. What I'd like for you to do, whether you're live with me now or many, many more who will watch this in replay, what you need to do is just get, whether it's your phone, to do some digital notes or a journal, and look at what is the biggest continuing issue that is present now. I would like for you to focus on what's present now in your life. And please share in the chat, okay? It makes it more interactive. So, I'm going to guess, because when I do readings, it's often money, right? Prosperity, money. The other big areas, relationship, right? Relationship, love, dating, marriage, whatever. Monogamy, non-monogamous relationships, in any guise, shape, or form, right? Relationships, money, health is a little trickier, so I'm not sure I want to touch on that, but please take a moment right now and write down in one sentence, like, yeah, don't go into, sometimes people email me and it's wonderful, it's beautiful, but out of the blue, with me not knowing them, they will write an email that is like a wall of text, really diving into like a trauma. Okay, so we're not doing that. We're not jumping into the trauma. I want you to have some distance from it and just write, what is the biggest continuing issue in your life? Okay, in one sentence or less, or a couple words. All right, so I'm going to give you a moment to do that. So yes, this is beautiful. As a licensed therapist, The Healing Experience, check out her channel. Nice to meet you. I think you have been in here at least one other time. You've been on a live. Okay, I do find that one of the biggest challenges is individuals making peace with their inner child. I mean, that's the whole thing, probably, really, right? People coming to you. Yeah, that's what I would imagine. Okay, so share in the chat, what is your biggest continuing, that's important. It's important that it's continuing, and you'll see why in a moment. So not just your current problem, like, oh, I'm looking for an apartment or I'm trying to buy a house. No. What is a continuing issue in your life that you have tried to get rid of and are having trouble getting rid of? Okay, and there's also suddenly, like, there was a fly, right, as I was getting ready, is putting some lipstick on. There's this like gigantic fly. And so if you see Percival like jump up and just like smack at the screen, it's because he does kill flies. He will kill anything. He is a hunter. I'm so proud of him. And okay, but now he's sleeping. So much, the hunters have to rest, right? Lions, they rest most of the day. Self-worth, what I allow in my relationships and my actions reflecting that. So self-worth has been an issue. That is the issue. Who else? Hi, as you're joining us. What is the continuing issue that you have trouble with in your life and it repeats over and over and over? Okay, so I'm just giving a little more time as you're joining us. And again, those in the replay, most are going to watch in the replay. So once you name that issue, the next step, and this is huge, is, and I might just have us meditate for just a brief moment, is I'd like for you then to just think, when in childhood, what is the memory you have from childhood that reminds you of this issue. Okay. So take whatever you wrote, whether it's about money, do you have enough money? Is there a feeling of you're always struggling with money? Is there an issue of you're always struggling with a partner who will they commit or not commit? I've had clients come to me for readings where they work, they're attractive, they have everything, they have themselves together, yet they cannot attract a relationship. Okay. So now, just in your mind, what does this problem remind you of in your childhood, like of a particular incident or a particular moment in time, like a snapshot from your younger years? Just see if you can bring yourself back there. Okay. Right now, just try and do that. Okay. I'm going to give a little time for that. Okay. Just sort of tune in. If you want to, you can close your eyes. If you're just joining us, we're just going through a process. Number one, what is your enduring life issue? Is it not feeling loved? That's another very common one. Just in general, not feeling loved, not feeling appreciated. Okay. Is it money? Is it a struggle with your health and like literally being here on planet Earth? What is it? Okay. And share in the chat if you're just joining. This is deep stuff. So I know for some of you, this might not be something that you want to work with, but this is deeply healing. Okay. The second step, if you're just joining us, is now just think back, look at that issue, and then think back to when you were younger. Take a breath in. And when you were younger, 4, 5, 10, or 12, when did this same or similar issue show up? You guys, this is so funny. Like there's going to be a fly like dying. You probably heard that. So go back to your childhood and see. And if you're ready for the healing, it will come to you. Okay. Please share in the chat. And I'll just wait here a little bit. I mean, Roland's perspective shared right away about her wish with her dad, the male figure in her life. So go back. Let me give you a little bit more on this. So go back. It's either a parent. It'll be an interaction with a parent, mom, a dad, or an elder, an aunt, grandma, or it could be with another child. It could. So for example, say you have issues around feeling worthy. It could be something that you may flash back to a playground incident. Okay. So please share in the chat. I really want to know and share with the community. And I'm just looking here at editing concepts. Hi, feeling worthy. Yes, yes, yes. Healing experience. Do you have something to share here from your wisdom, chakra trauma healing? Do you have, share here what is in like 2 or 3 words, what is the issue that is continuing in your life that you've tried to solve, that you have trouble solving? Okay. Again, this is deep, deep work. Wow. I have gaping holes in my memories from childhood. Yes. Yeah. The fact that you know that, really, Goddess, is amazing, because my dear friend who had passed away recently, the regular viewers know, this was one thing he and I talked about. He was bullied in childhood. Okay. Beautiful young man, had huge, big eyes. And he didn't fit into the neighborhood he grew up in. It was a rough neighborhood and he was beaten up. He was small and he was more in touch with his feminine. So he was beaten up a lot, bullied, and he had gaping holes in his memory. So this apparently is very common. I think I'm the one who helped him see this, because we would talk over time. We were really dear friends. So he discovered these big gaps in memory. So yeah, that is very common. I'll see in terms of any remedies for that. Honestly, I say to all of us, whatever community you're in, whatever ethnicity, you have to get into therapy. I tell all my friends, this is not just me preaching to you, on YouTube. I tell my friends get into therapy, get someone, you see them once a week who is a professional. Your friends are not the same as professionals. I am not the same as a professional. Okay, get a professional, because yeah, when you have such big gaps in your memory, yes, there are things that are very likely traumatic. Okay, yeah, good. Editing concept says here. For things and leaving me behind. Okay, so that's good. That's the memory. So the first one was feeling worthy. Gotcha. Okay, now, so if I can use you as an example, and some folks are just joining. So our first step was, what is our continuing difficulty in our life? Is it money? Is it love? Is it our health, which is really about being here? Of course, that's trickier. That's really, really deep, but it's often money, right? Relationships, being treated well in relationships, things like that. And so that's your first thing. And then the second thing in editing concepts, I'm using them as an example. So they said feeling worthy. And then we went back to, when in your childhood do you first remember this being an issue? Okay. And she says, yeah, my dad never having time for me or being around, right? So that would lead us to feel, whether it's your mother or your father, right? It's going to lead you to feel, I'm not important. I'm not interesting. I'm not worthy of attention. I am not worthy of attention. There's got to be something wrong with me, that these adults who are basically, when we're a child, right? I'm like looking up, we see them as perfect. We see them as powerful, you guys. And so please, please, please. So as I'm sharing with you, I'm even just feeling that, like what you're saying, editing concepts. And I don't know you, and you've been through this, but I can really feel that pain, because I am actually an empath. So I have to be careful. Roland's perspective said, yes, you were bullied a lot too. I literally may be doing this video just for you, Goddess, really, because this came to me. I was having an experience myself, and then you just seemed to you went right into it. You were ready for this. So if this video helps one person. So yes, if you were bullied a lot, there are things that you're going to block out because they were very painful. So Roland, I'm asking you right now, can you get into therapy? Now, if money is an issue in almost every community in America, except I'm going to say certain states, I don't think they have good services. I'm not going to name those states. You can think of them. But like I'm from like the Northeast, some of those states that have big cities, you usually can get therapy for either free or very inexpensive, like very, very, very inexpensive, at like a public clinic. Okay. So that's what I recommend in terms of if you have gaps in your memory and you were bullied a lot. Those two things are linked. Yeah, I'm sure. Let me put up some other comments, guys. But editing concepts, I hear you. I hear you. The third step I'll share just in a moment, but let's see. Around food. Okay, Aishul. Hi, Aishul. Welcome. Yes, my issues around food. Okay, but what specifically? I mean, and you don't have to necessarily share it here with me, but what is it around food? Is it overeating? Is it feeling like you can't eat certain foods? Like, try to name what the problem is, because issues around food is so big. Is that about being, so then go back to childhood. What is the big memory around food? Like maybe you're at the table and your mom said something to you about food, right? Or you were in the school cafeteria and the other kids, like they did something. Okay, so this is like I said, this is kind of shadow work. Yes, a sliding scale. Yes, honey, there's almost always a sliding scale. Or that's private. But what I'm saying is, for some of my viewers who might be low income or just very young, sometimes I get, and so you just don't have a lot of income probably. If you're 18, 19, there's usually a public clinic, okay, that you can go to, like mental health. In my town, it's like whatever community mental health, and you can just get a therapist. Maybe you have to pay $10, but a lot of times, if you're low income, it will qualify on like Medicaid or whatever. Okay, but it's worth doing it. Yeah, exactly, child. Yes, if when you are in school, for my younger viewers, because my viewers really range in age, it's pretty fascinating. So yeah, absolutely, take advantage of that therapy. especially, yeah, if it's free in school, it often is. You just go every week. Seriously, find a therapist, Rollins, okay? Find a therapist that you like and just try to see them every week if you can, or even do group therapy. Because if you have gaps in your memory, for any of you watching this, big gaps in your memory, and you know you were bullied, you know you have trauma, it's there. Okay, so yes, sliding scale, absolutely, from Healing Experience, who is a therapist. Like I said, check out her channel. Check out her channel. We need more therapists of color. There are also not a lot of men therapists, I think, relative to women. Well, wait, there are not a lot of Black men or men of color, I would say. Um, so there's sometimes it may not always be easy to find a therapist you feel comfortable with. You may feel comfortable with a therapist from, a different background. It depends, that totally depends on you. Okay, emotional eating. Yeah, so for that, emotional eating, and guilt, yeah. Well, emotional eating, you'd have to look at what the emotion is. That's a deep one because it's provoking guilt. Yeah, I need more information, but if it's emotional eating, look at either what you're feeling right before you eat. This is actually quite complex. So, and I'm not a trained therapist, but what the first step is, and now there's a gigantic spider like crawling up the window, like the bugs are out in full force today. So interesting. Look at what the continuing problem is in your life. So if it's emotional eating, yes, then you'd have to, okay, that's the problem. You do have to take a step back and say, okay, well, what's the feeling I'm having? Is it loneliness? What is the feeling that's making me eat emotionally? Figure that out, which you probably know. You probably know what it is. I'm getting loneliness. I don't know why. And then go back to childhood and like, when was a time that you felt really lonely in childhood? Right? So that's how I'm saying you work with it. Okay, let me keep going. Let's see. Oh, nice. It's great when you guys are having conversation between yourselves. That's great. Currently going through a breakup. Yeah. Yeah. So you can use it with the breakup as well. If, like I'm saying, use it for deep stuff. And I'm seeing I shouldn't necessarily say that because it takes a certain capacity as a spiritual teacher. Oh, yeah, as a spiritual teacher, I'm saying go for the deep stuff, but it may not be appropriate for you and may be hard for you to work on that by yourself. Okay, so I kind of take that back. Work at the level you can. So I'll give you my example and then I'll do like the wrap up of what's the next step. So, my people, I went to an event, a beautiful event about the Voters' Right Act that was, I think, signed in 65, they said, 64, 65. That is, as I understand, it's still being dismantled right now around the country. It really ensured that even though Black folks specifically were supposed to be able to vote, it really codified it into law that you can't block people based on race. Now, this is, like I said, being dismantled. So I went to this big event. Okay, this is like a street party. Politicians were there, you guys. It's kind of cool, local politicians and people. And there was a choir singing some, spirituals, not quite gospel, but beautiful voices. They were all older Black women. So that was cool. I think all of them, it was like 5 of them. They all had their silver hair, And so there is a friend of mine who, this is a person who is kind of elusive person. And so I just had this breakthrough where I realized that a male who is a bit elusive is being nice, in terms of just availability, being available, connecting, things like that, you guys. So because I do a lot of spiritual practice, I meditated today, in fact, which even every day that helps set you in a beautiful space. And it just came to me, this person said, yeah, I'm going to be at this event. I says, great, no pressure, but I was like, yeah, I'll be there. And they said, I'll look for you. I was like, oh, because that would be nice, because I did want to hang out with him. And I just never saw, they just, were they there? Did they come and leave? No contact after that. I'll look for you. After that, I sent like a, cute emoji. No sign of this individual. And so I went into my spiritual mode, and goddesses, and again, this is super important. Don't get victimy on yourself. This has been one of my recurring themes. You can look back at one of my first videos. I say something about, you don't have a big V on your head. I really don't. This is the one thing I agree with like Black conservatives. I'm not a conservative, but is that I think we have to be really careful about, this is what I said literally 6 years ago, and I'll say it again. You can be victimized, but don't label yourself as a victim. Okay. Think on that. Does that make sense? Don't stay in the victim mode. Okay. Because that disempowers you. So I felt a little victimized. I was like, why me? What happens? And why does this keep happening with the same person? Instead of like, well, what's up with them? Right. As women, this is true. Give me a yes. You're like, well, why does this happen to me? What am I doing wrong? What am I not saying? Well, so on the way back home, I had this huge breakthrough where I said, you know what? What does this remind me of? This reminds me of my father. My father, and I'm going to do another aside. There's some folks on YouTube who really dump on Black women, and there are some channels that just dump on women in general. And they're like, oh, she has daddy issues. Well, a lot of people have mommy issues. They have daddy issues, both sides. So I realized, though, that my father, while he did some wonderful things for me, you guys, and for my mom, he was a provider to a certain extent. To a limited extent. He was unavailable. So my father was unavailable, unpredictable. It was the unpredictability-ness, and it just hit me, you guys. I'm like, this dude has that same quality of not being dependable, unpredictability, drop communication suddenly, just disappeared, just poof, like poof. They just went into the ether. You're like, you don't know where they went. And then they come back. It's like nothing happened. So anyway, this realization, though, while I'm making it sound light, you will have emotions come up. And that's really good, goddesses, because when you have emotions come up, that means you've touched into a very deep place where you can heal. So I really felt it. I was like, wow. It's like, yeah, dad wouldn't be there for me. My father wasn't able to show love ever that I remember, ever. He could show, money, like, okay, here, get some money for your school clothes. Okay, here, he called my mom. Well, yeah, he called my mom by her last name. So, if her name was Smith, I'm just not feeling like saying my name right now. He'd be like, Mrs. Smith, here's the money to get some groceries, like he'd call her by her last name. I'm like, why do you do that? It was cute. It was kind of cute, but weird. So I just saw the current suffering. Okay. To wrap this up. So you really wrap it in a bow. The current suffering that keeps repeating in your life. Go back to childhood. When did this happen? And really try to feel it. And then you'll have a realization. And the more you can let yourself stay in the feelings, the sadness, okay? Cat hair people, sorry. The sadness, the feelings of the original time from your childhood, you basically start to crumble. It's like an edifice, like a building, right? A building edifice, like the big front of it. And you start breaking the bricks down. You start breaking the wall down, and you get freedom. So I realized with this person, like in my case, to use myself as an example, that this is their personality. I'm drawn to that because it reminds me of how my father was. And I realized, well, that was then, but this does not serve me now, right? I don't like this situation now. I don't like the unpredictability. I don't like the on, just not keeping your word, kind of, not, yeah, not being dependable. So I just had this big breakthrough. I can feel it. It helped me to let go a little bit. Now you're going to have to repeat this, okay? You're going to have to repeat. It's not like the one time and then the whole wall comes down. There's bits of the wall still there, okay? So what you want to do, I'm just putting up some of your great comments. So the final step, I would say, is just you could journal on it, goddesses. You could journal on what you actually want. Okay. I just got that. So in the example I gave you of, undependable men, and this is something that you're repeating, they're not able to commit, you join it, you remember something, how your childhood had that same quality. You could just write it out, write out the pain. But then, as I said, we don't want to have that victim on our foreheads. Okay. Write about what I do want. This is what I expect. This is what I'm looking for. And that begins to change the narrative. Okay. That begins, I like that, to change the narrative. I know you guys have heard that. I'm going to even put that in the comments, right? To change the narrative. That means change your story. I may make a separate video just starting off with that. So change the narrative. Instead of, oh, why are all men like this? And why am I treated like that? And why does this keep happening to me? We take what's called agency, our own agency, right? And are like, well, why am I in this? Right? And we're like, why am I in this? And then, like I said, I would write about, and I'm going to do it. I'm going to do this later. Write about what you do want. So I'm going to give a quick example with money. Yeah, so change the narrative. Yes, undependable men. Yes, that's probably why you're watching this video. I'm telling you, you and I, there was a mind meld, because you were right here when I started the video, and I hadn't even really shared this direction I was going to go in. So I'm going to use it. I've had clients where money is a big issue, right? That's for many of us. I'm getting it, especially if you're highly educated, you're skilled. Money's still an issue. Aside from outside structural factors as well, is it worthiness? Think of a time when money was an issue. So when you were a child, was money a big issue for your mom and your dad? Did they fight about it? Were there violent arguments about it? Was there religious rule about, the rich man and the eye of the needle, right? It can't go through the eye of the camel. That one. I always use that one, that biblical one, because my dad loved that one. So then you would say, okay, that was their belief, and really feel it. Feel the, like, when you wanted a toy. Okay, goddess, this is another one I know a lot of you probably have had, because we've all had this. You wanted a toy, you're in the toy store, you're like, I want this, and they're like, what? I don't have money. You think, money doesn't grow on trees, right? All those, money doesn't grow on trees. Who do you think you are? I don't have money for that. Do you deserve that? So feel the emotions and then realize, like, am I still with money feeling undeserving? Am I feeling like, oh, I shouldn't spend money that way? That means I'm a bad person if I spend money on this thing, we've all heard of the really wealthy person who, like, literally was like hoarding and like scrimping and like eating like, day old food, and when they had like $1 million in their mattress or something, right? We've all heard about that. So change your narrative, write it out. Okay, so that's your third step. Write it out. This is what I do want, whether it's about money. I want to feel ease with money. I begin to look at ways that I can treat myself, or that I can save up for what I want, right? So whatever the issue is, change the narrative, write out what it is you do want and what you're going to expect. And basically, I'm even going to say demand in your life. Okay. Hope that is helpful. Like I said, I'm really grateful those of you who are here live. Yes. I'm just looking back at some of the comments. Yeah. Oh, wow. My dad would always ask me, do you need this? Like, no, can I have something just because I want it? Right. Well, that teaches you that then like, for instance, then it's like, well, do you need a new pair of shoes? Like, that means, does your old pair of shoes have to be like, broken with your toes sticking out? I'm just saying, like, the inner child in you will hear, oh, it has to be that bad before I can get something I want, right? Because he's saying need is okay, but if it's just something you want, it's not okay. Yeah. So then we carry that forward in our lives and we create situations, and then we're like, why does this keep happening to me? Which is the title of this video. Why does this keep happening to me? Why don't I have enough money? Well, your subconscious thinks you only have money for what you need, right? Think about that, you guys. You only have money for what you need, because that's what you've been trained from you were little. And so that's why you get jobs where they only pay you this much. That's why the boss, you attract a boss and you're in a relationship with a boss who has the same thing as your father. It's like, well, I don't know. I don't know that this is something that, is this needed? Like, you work fine. Do you need a raise? They have that same mentality. You see what I mean? They may not voice it to you like that, but it will remind you of your dad and that sense of like, is this a need or is this a want? And you only get things you need, which means you have to be like almost like just run out of it. So these are 3 steps I just wanted to share with you. Like I said, I shared with you what happened with me, that I had this breakthrough. Like I said, this is actually my language notebook, but I am going to write in my journal, which has a really pretty cover. I don't have it handy, but I'm gonna write just and really think on, in relationships, what am I looking for now in the present moment? We have to want to break the pattern. Okay, you have to want to break the pattern. You can break the pattern, but you have to really desire to break the pattern. Okay. So give me your last comments. I just dropped my lipstick down and it is not broken. It just opened up. Give me your comments. What do you think? What have you gotten from this video? Is there a friend who maybe you see a pattern with them that you can maybe share this process with? It's like the 3-step process. Again, also, I want to go back. This can be hard to do by yourself. That's why there are therapists. That's why there are social workers, because it's hard to do. Okay, so give me your comments in the chat. Rowland's perspective, chakra trauma healing, who was here early on, editing concepts, the healing experience was here. Early on, Taz, early on. Yes, let's go to this. I hadn't seen this. Oh, okay. Yeah. You were forced into the adult role. Wow. Yeah. You have to be a false therapist for the adults. Yeah, that is not appropriate for the child to have to do that. Absolutely. Absolutely. So what is the issue now then? Are you still doing that, Taz? Are you still like the one where people come to you and you have to kind of like listen to their burdens and their problems? Is that still continuing? I'm curious. Let me see. Okay, I'm trying to read this in order. Yeah, there was a conversation there. Nice, a nice conversation there. Great. It's multiple comments, so it's hard for me to jump in, but I see that Taz was talking to Roland's perspective. That's great. Oh, you're welcome. Yeah. So write down before you go back to school and get the therapist, write down, what do you want in this area? And a lot of law of attraction folks say, don't, your brain's not stupid, because they're like, don't use the word want, because that means you don't have it. But you're doing this exercise because you're declaring what you want. And so, yes, it's not here yet, but you're basically almost writing a manifesto, right? You guys have probably heard of like the Communist Manifesto, or like, a group starts and they make a manifesto. So I don't know. I feel like that's a title for another video. Make basically your manifesto. What do you want in this area of your life going forward? And like I said, I'm going to do this as well. Let me know in the comments if you want more like this. BB, go back and watch the beginning. Yeah, I'm sorry that you missed it. That still continues in multiple relationships. Okay, Taz. So, I mean, if that's an issue and it's something you want to change, then go back and feel, again, feel the childhood when it was melded in. My sense is if it's painful, there should be a traumatic moment where you realized that you were almost being used as the counselor for the adults. And so feel that, and then really feel, is this what I want my relationships to be now? That's what I would say, Taz. And then if that's not, you could say, you know what? I have friends and lovers and partners and whatever group they're in, who value being friends with me, but they don't use me as a therapist or something, something like that, right? I wouldn't write it just like that, but that's the point, is what I'm saying. That is the point. So BB, I'm glad you're here now. And yeah, I didn't really announce this video. I'm often live on Sundays, but I actually am now going to go to my group coaching, which actually starts in about 45 minutes. My chakra course is going to open, and that's going to have a live component. I want to have that open for September. So if you're interested in healing through chakra work, and especially if you're a healer. So who is the woman? Oh, the Healing Experience. Who's a therapist? If you are a healer, yoga teacher, massage therapist, you might be interested in my Chakra Soul Healing program. Okay. You can take it as self-paced, but I'm also going to have a live component where you can go through at your pace, but you'll be able to meet with me in a group setting. So that is coming up in September. I'll announce the date, and so look out for that. All right. If you want to work with the chakras for healing, that is a program I created, and some folks in the chat are in it and have taken it. And you're really just working at the subtle energy to heal. So maybe next week I can talk a little bit about that, because trauma does affect the chakras, and it's almost like it leaves this echo of this energetic imprint. Actually, that's a good way to say it. It's like an energetic imprint on us. So working with the chakras can be one way to help heal. Okay. But it's important that it is important to kind of also, I think, to know, as I talked about in this video, to know what the trauma or the issue is when you're working with the chakras, if that makes sense. So here, let me put up another comment. Yeah. So I love that you're cross-talking to each other. That is awesome. And so for August, I'm not sure I'm going to have a video on Thursdays. I think I'm just going to, I usually do Thursday and Sunday. So I know I should have decided this before I went live, but I'm going to take a little bit of a break through August, but I will still be here. So I'm going to drop, instead of twice a week, I'm going to do one time a week a video. Okay. I haven't decided yet what day. But I'm still here. I'll still be putting out content, and I would love your comments if you watch this on the replay. All right. So I'm going to go now and get ready for my, my group, and it's Goddess Manifesting group. We're working with manifesting it's a 3-month program, and we're working on manifesting a goal or a dream. And you don't have to finish the manifestation in the 3 months, but you want to make major. So I'll share with you really quickly. One woman is working on an app, sort of a big app project. One goddess is wanting to start a school, like a magnet school. Another goddess is wanting to educate people via her YouTube channel. And another woman is simply working on organization in her home to help her with her healing. Okay. And so this is what my goddess coaching, and it is a group, and that will also restart sometime in the fall. Okay. So if you are interested, and I'm teaching them spiritual methods like affirmations, meditations, different techniques to help them manifest. So if you're interested in that, also watch out for that. Okay. Mwah. Love you guys, and I will talk to you soon. If you're watched in the replay, please leave a comment. And those of you live, please leave a comment. It really helps YouTube to promote the video more, to show it to more people. So I really appreciate that. And like I said, there will be one video a week, so do look out for that. And so I'm just pulling back just a little bit instead of 2 videos a week, which was what I was aiming for during the rest of the year. All right, you guys. Stay blissed and blessed. Bye.